Welcome, everybody, to the third episode of Series 2 of the Feel Weird podcast. And today...
Very special guest.
I've written my little introduction.
Introduce our guest.
Today, people, for our third guest, we have an absolute icon in the making. Fresh from her set at Glastonbury, the Glastonbury, and that was just a side hustle.
Yeah?
That was just a side
Humble
hustle.
brag.
Humble brag.
Carry on.
Where she is a session artist for some of your favourite artists. And she herself is your new favourite artist.
Nicely done.
There you go, you like that one, didn't you?
I did.
You can find her frequently on BBC Radio 1 and many, many, many fantastic Spotify playlists. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody give it up. Queen of the North, Pippa Crossland.
Oh my
Queen
God!
of the North.
I don't even know how to respond to that intro, guys. Thanks
That's
so
a great
much.
intro. I'm glad I
That was
didn't
a
read
really
it as
good
well.
intro.
That was a nice
I
surprise.
really had to try and match how good Liam's was for Kingston last time.
Yeah, it's going to have to be a thing that we really got to drum up
Yeah.
our...
It's kind of
Yes.
like, I feel a little bit like an imposter.
Oh,
As you should, though. I think
Classic
we're supposed
artist.
Yeah, I
to
think
really
you should.
classic artist.
blow smoke up as soon as we get
Yeah,
on.
well, that's it. You, as artists, we have to smoke up each other's arses.
Yeah.
Yes, I
You can't
agree.
blow up your own.
You know
I
what
will
mean?
blow smoke up everyone else's.
But not your own.
But not my own.
Not your own.
Yeah.
Anyway, Pippa, how the hell are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm a bit sleepy.
I bet you are. If anyone's been paying any attention, or if you don't know Pippa already, please go to TikTok and see just how overworked this poor young woman is.
Yeah.
You must not.
You must
not have slept a
to have,
week.
though.
Yeah,
As a
exactly.
musician, not a bad problem to
Exactly.
have.
No, it's not a bad problem to have. I do well on little sleep until I don't.
Ah.
And then I hit a wall and I'm like, on Saturday, you didn't want to be around me, honestly.
Yeah.
But I'm fine now.
I guess because of festival season, you'll hit August and just collapse for a week.
Yeah, I think I'll die in August, but
Totally fair.
I don't
Riding
mind.
the
I had a
wave now.
great July.
Like, exactly, yeah. I mean, really, just to give people a glance, in the last week, maybe last week and a half, where have you been?
Okay, so
To get the chaos of it all.
got back from Lytham Festival last night.
Amazing.
That's pretty rock and roll, Lytham Festival. Was in Bedford on Saturday. Got back from Glastonbury on Monday. Had a little few days in Wales actually after that to kind of like decompress.
Oh, okay,
That was
okay.
nice. And then the week before that, I was at the O2. I was at Co-op Live.
Stunning.
I was, yeah, it was brilliant.
Supporting.
It was a good week.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And backing vocals for who? If anyone
That
wants
was
to
for
put some-
James.
Stunning.
Oh, sit down.
See,
Vibes.
I've got to say, I reckon, you'll know the stats more than me, but a lot of our listeners and viewers are Mancunians.
Spot on, they are.
Yeah.
That's mega news.
It's a massive news.
Actually, our friend we were talking about
Our friend
before,
James,
James, called James.
Named after James, was at your gig.
He was watching you at the Court Arena.
Oh my God, how
His parents are
sweet.
diehard James fans, named him James,
Yeah.
and then he was at your gig. So I
Those
watched
fans are
his perspective.
diehard.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, he'll
He's
love it.
pissing his little panties that you're on this podcast.
Yeah.
I swear to God, honestly.
Yeah.
When we were at Isle of Wight the other week, there was bare people in James t-shirts and James wasn't even playing.
Really?
Yeah.
I think they got an
My mum and
iconic
dad love
logo though. I
James.
think
Yeah.
the flower
They
is
do,
such
yeah.
it's such a timeless logo.
Yeah, so
of
I
branding
only
for
have
them.
2 tattoos right now, but I was saying earlier,
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to get
The flower.
some little fine
Oh,
lines.
you should.
Fantastic
That's
idea.
a great one.
Mark my
Fantastic
first arena
idea.
tour.
I mean, Pippa's done some insane things with James. I mean, you've played some crazy, I mean, you've already mentioned a few, but some crazy venues with them, haven't you? But one thing I will say about James is, because my parents are big fans as well, but so many people, I mean, I know Manchester's biased about their own bands and they always happen, but so many people have always said that James are the best live band you could ever see.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a real, like, they do a different set every night on tour.
Yeah.
Which, as you can imagine, as a session player, is a bit like, fuck.
Yeah.
It's a bit stressful, but every set is different. So people feel like there's a good few people who come to every show on tour.
And they get to see
Fully
something
believe it.
nice and different every
There's
time.
about
That's nice.
there's
That's cool.
about 29 people in the band. Like this
Oh,
just
yeah.
never ending
Yeah,
amount
yeah.
of people, and they all are genuinely bringing something like completely different. It's like, it is such a fun project to be a part of.
I mean, and they're just such, I mean, I've had the pleasure of meeting Tim before, but they're just all such good people.
Yeah, really good.
They really are. I mean, is Trust of Fox Photography still there with you?
Yes.
Yeah. He did all the Manchester's guitar stuff with us.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was at quite a few of the tour dates,
Yeah,
I
love
think.
Nidge.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's mint. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, people said that about James before it was this new like orchestra and backing vocal. Like, I mean, it's for them at their stage of their career to elevate their live show
Yeah,
even
it's
bigger.
huge.
I think it's mad.
Yeah,
They're such an
completely
underrated
agree.
band live for people. And I say underrated because people out, they're a bit like the Cortinas, where outside of Manchester, they're a bit of a niche band.
Yes, I agree.
But in Manchester, they're like gods.
Yeah.
You know,
And I
we've
feel
got a few
like-
of them, haven't we? But like, that's,
and I do feel like every time you say James, people are like, who's James? They think he's a singular person. But
And
when
then
you
you go,
sing
"Oh,
Sit
sit down."
Down,
Yeah.
everyone's like, oh.
Yeah.
And also Lade was like really big in America.
Lade was big in
Yeah.
America.
It was in a film, I don't know.
It was in American Pie.
American Pie.
Was it
Oh,
out?
good
Yeah.
shout. Of
Yeah,
course it
yeah,
was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Banger.
That's
Johnny
one of my
Marr
favourite
came on
ever songs.
yesterday. Yesterday and the day before.
What, with you?
Yeah, and played it. And I texted my dad and I was like, oh, Johnny Marr's playing. And he was like, oh my God, I love the Smiths. I was like, fuck, Johnny Marr's from the Smiths.
Really?
He was like, I am so embarrassed that you didn't know that.
That's huge. When
We
I saw
watched-
High Flying Birds, he brought out Johnny Marr as well.
Yeah, oh,
I think
that'd be
if a
so-
Manchester
He's
group
lovely.
just gets out.
What,
and-
Johnny Marr?
Yeah, he's really nice.
He's, yes, I've just realised we're on a podcast and I'm not going to. We went to watch Johnny Marr at Isle of Wight, didn't we? And because because Morris is a questionable character these days.
Yeah, of
so we'll
course.
leave it at that.
Sure.
Seeing Johnny Marr is like the best thing you'll see now.
Yeah,
Yes.
If you're a
cool.
Smiths fan.
That's cool.
And I was a really, really big Smiths fan. So like we left the Prodigy, they were min. I like ran to the other side of the festival, watched Johnny Marr play like 4 Smiths tunes and then legged it back for the rest of the Prodigy.
Yeah.
And Johnny Marr is so good, to be fair.
You saw Prodigy and Johnny Marr both without their leading men.
Yeah,
So
how
obviously
crazy is
Keith,
that?
what's his name?
I think it's, oh
Prodigy.
no.
It's Keith someone.
Keith Urban.
Oh, I recognise that name.
What's his
Yeah,
name?
he had the like.
I can't remember what his name is.
The
The
bald
lead
head, but with the
vocalist
two
of the-
Yeah.
Yeah.
mohawk spiky
Yeah.
things.
Well, remember the second we finished.
I'm horrified that we're between
don't know the name.
He only died less than like 5 years ago. I can't
He's
remember
called
what his
Keith,
name is.
isn't he? I think it's
It's
Keith.
Keith
I
something.
don't know.
Lil,
Keith's-
what's the lead vocalist for Prodigy called? I meant like to Google
Meant
it.
to Google it. We're really this.
No.
no,
Alex. No, it's
right.
not.
Special mention here for Matthew Rose Splinter. We're really missing our fact checker because our camera woman is just lay on the floor,
Keith
just
David, it's
on
not
Twitter or
Keith
whatever.
David.
But we're being. This is
David
he's an icon. We
Yeah,
can't
for
move
sure.
on until we get
He
his
can't
name
be
right.
that much of an icon if you don't know his name.
Yeah,
No,
but
that
his,
is bad
his
though,
image
but-
is so iconic.
Okay,
Do you know what I mean? Like,
valid.
Keith Flynn.
Keith
Oh,
Flynn is what it was.
sake.
Very close.
I went with Alex.
I don't know why you
Alex
went with
was
Alex.
niche.
We'd already established it was Keith, and you were like, oh, it's Alex. What's his
That's
face? Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Prodigy were great. Johnny Marr was great. So, I mean, I would love to just sit and pry Pippa's mind for some of the things
For
she's done
sure.
recently.
No, for sure.
But to get things rolling, what we've started to do with people, we've got our little thing called Desert Island Disc.
I don't think that's your thing.
Oh, I know.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
We didn't come up with it.
I was
but-
about to
I feel
establish.
like I've heard of that.
I was about to-
Potentially
Yeah,
so.
we created this thing where, like, yeah.
Guess what?
Yeah. But we want to know what your 3 Desert Island Discs are.
3.
Yeah,
Only
3.
three.
And to establish some ground rules.
Okay.
Because what I think, it's a bit of a question to drop on musicians, I think.
It's weird because I was actually having this discussion with my dad and his partner the other day, so I've got my answers.
Oh,
Fantastic.
let's hear it. Don't say no
Fantastic.
more.
Well,
Go-
because the only thing I wanted to say was a lot of people struggle because it's like, it can be your favourites, it can be this, it can be that. But
Yeah.
the way we want to try and think about it is to like, because especially for you as an artist, for people who don't know you, I think it's a good chance to show
It's a reflection
everything.
of
your reflection.
Okay.
who you are.
It doesn't
your
have
taste.
to be like,
3 is hard for
3
a
is
full
hard.
It's hard
reflection.
because the
I mean,
next
okay.
5 is easier.
I think a good challenge.
you can do 5 if you want, but we normally don't say 5 because then people are like, they bang out 3 and then they're like, oh.
Yeah.
And it's hard to think all time.
But I mean,
Okay.
if you're clued up, then feel free.
Okay, well, no, I think I'll stick with 3. because
Okay.
I'm actually now stressed. But I don't know if they're that representative of my music.
It doesn't have to
It
be.
doesn't- but what are you
We've
going to
got-
want to listen to till the end of your life? Though?
Yeah.
Isn't what it is.
My favorite song of my life is kind of niche. Well, it's not niche, but it's kind of random. Is Waterloo Sunset by the Kings.
What a fucking brilliant song that is.
Yeah, I will never tire of it.
I'm the Kings, but I'd have to hear it. So I don't want to. You can either sing.
old river.
Oh, that does sound familiar. Yeah. Okay, I like
James
that.
will be so upset with you right now.
That's his bag. But
Yeah.
go on.
Anyway.
It was like my parents aren't together anymore, but it was their favorite. I think. Well, I don't know if it was their favorite song, but they
Yeah.
always played it together, and they would always dance to it together.
Fantastic.
Nice.
And I would want it as my first dance song. Whoever I marry, that's our first dance song.
Yeah,
Sorry,
cool.
it's decided. I just couldn't. I never get bored of listening to it. It's so
I don't.
nostalgic.
It's a timeless song, isn't it?
I think it's nostalgic, but actually, it's also a really good song.
Yeah. Yeah.
But is the rest of the album also backing up? Or are you just
No.
doing it for that
Oh, good
one
point.
song?
No.
Just that one song.
One song.
So you're taking a
Respect.
single.
Yeah.
Respect.
Yeah.
If you, I mean, it depends how good the 2 other slots are.
Okay, now I have to pick from my because I've got 7, and I can't.
You said you didn't want to do 5.
And you got
You're
7
allowed
minutes to go.
5 if you want 5.
No. Okay. Golden Brown by the Stranglers.
Hello, I didn't expect that.
Yeah, again, kind of random.
The album.
No, the song.
Oh my god.
You're picking
Am I allowed to pick albums?
Yes.
You're supposed to pick albums. It's
Records.
not two
Oh my
singles.
god,
it's the whole
guys! Well,
thing.
this is completely different.
Well, I thought,
I
I thought if it's your favourite song, that's why I asked, is
hang
that
on.
enough to carry the...
Pippa over here. You
Wait.
didn't invent Desert Island.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I know what this is.
I thought it was songs.
It's not songs.
Okay. Erase.
Erase, quick go.
Well, for everyone's information, they would
They're your
be
two
the
favourites.
two songs.
Okay, gotcha.
I didn't expect them though.
But is
to
the
be fair.
King's tune not just going to be that song in that album? As your,
No.
Okay, go
No,
ahead
no.
then.
The Kings have got a lot of songs. haven't
Yeah.
they, to be
Yeah.
fair, and they're spread across a lot of albums.
Okay. Well then,
A scrap erase, start
Scrap.
again.
Game changer.
Go ahead.
okay, then I'm gonna go. Oh my god.
I don't know, innit?
Yeah.
It's
I
like-
think I'm gonna go Frank by Amy Winehouse
Okay, yeah.
Interesting.
because that was. I think
can
it was
see
the
that on
first vinyl I got. I
Yeah.
mean, don't get me wrong.
For
I
so
was
many,
like
probably.
14.
Yeah, but for
But-
so many, probably.
Yeah. And that is one where like I could listen to every song. And I like the fact that that's like growing up, I didn't ever actually really listen to albums top to bottom.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that was like because it was my first vinyl.
Oh yeah.
That's
that.
what I did with
That's
that.
nice. That's a
I
good
love
choice.
that. Everyone can remember. I mean, especially I think our generation where it wasn't as big of a deal to be buying albums.
Yeah.
I think everybody that's around our age can remember that one.
Yeah, I do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can remember one, and it was the first time I'd ever bought an album myself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that,
Yeah.
That's,
Big occasion.
and that has actually had a big influence on you in your artist.
Yes,
life,
yeah,
hasn't it?
I would
can
say
see
so.
that, yeah.
I would say so. Especially because that's around the time that I started writing songs.
Oh yeah, of course, 14. Yeah.
So like, yeah, it definitely had an influence. I would say Tapestry by Carole King. But I think that's pretty classic.
That's a great album,
But that is a true, like every song on that album
back to back.
is just like, yeah, I could talk about Carole King all day. But like, she's also a big influence.
That's like the singer-songwriters
Oh,
go
of the whole entire universe, I would argue.
We'll get onto that.
Um,
Don't you worry.
Okay, and a more recent one, Messy by Olivia Dean.
Oh,
Olivia Dean is like the artist of my life.
I
Right
thought that
now.
would come up. Being
assume
somebody
so.
went through all of your TikToks.
It
came up, so it makes total sense. I did assume.
Do you know what's so
That'll come
irritating, right? And I'm so glad that she is getting her flowers because she so deserves them. She's
I knew you were going to say this.
unreal. Do you know what I'm going to say?
I assume.
I found Olivia Dean
There we go.
in her first EP, and no one knew. It was through a Spotify editorial.
What
She
year
was,
is this?
It was my first year of uni, so
It's good 4 years ago,
2019.
innit?
Okay.
And I think she'd released 1 or 2 EPs. And I was obsessed, and no one was really onto it. And last year, she released an album. Everyone fucking loves her now, and which I'm obviously happy about. But I'm like, I actually was
Yeah,
there
you need to-
first.
Yeah.
Like I actually was,
thing
and I'm
is,
not even just being.
Everybody like takes the piss out of people gatekeeping artists, but we've all done it.
No, we have.
And I still do it.
Who do you do it with?
Well, I remember doing it with Lorcana for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember doing it with
I know what Tom Misch. I'm following him when he was like less than 10,000
Yeah, that's a good
followers,
shout.
and he owes me a check because the amount of people I've put into his music with.
Have you ever done the like, and this is a bit of a weird question, but like almost the opposite of gatekeeping, like not listening to someone because they've been raved about too much? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's what I was
That's a
like with
good
Tom
one.
Misch.
That's a
Yeah,
good one.
I had that with Tom Misch.
Yeah.
Second year of uni was the first time I even bothered listening to him. 'Cause I'd
Yeah.
heard his name so many times. I was like, fuck. I'm
Yeah.
sick
Like,
of
is he
hearing
any
this guy's
good?
name.
And you can
Yeah.
listen to him and go, okay, it turns out he's
And then I
actually
went back to
pretty
Beat Tape
decent.
too and was like, oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
he is
Fair
the
enough.
Messiah.
Yeah, I do that with films a lot as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a real one to do it. If it's too big, you're like, I just don't want to get to it. It's
Yeah, it feels a
it's
bit
too
too
big.
mainstream for me.
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
I am basic bitch, so I end up getting there.
On a
You've
thinking
got
on
your
that.
last one. Oh no, you haven't.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
do-
yeah. Before
That's
we
a
move on,
solid
before we
3
move on.
actually.
Thank
Now
you.
think about it.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I was just going to say on the Tom Misch one, me and Sam found out years after.
Oh, crazy, yeah.
We were both at the same Tom Misch gig. Like I was on the left with one of my friends and he was on the right with like our joint best friend
Yeah.
on the same gig. And my best friend just didn't communicate with me, even though I'm the one who showed him Tom
And you
Misch.
didn't know each other?
I didn't even,
So-
I hadn't met you at this point. Or
Yeah, well, not-
maybe I'd met you once.
Not to hijack your episode,
Yeah, just
No,
with an
please.
but
interesting
this is
story.
about me and Liam. Me and Liam met 4 or 5 years ago.
Something like that,
Well,
yeah.
actually met 6, probably 7
Yeah,
years
yeah,
ago.
yeah.
But
Like
through
once.
Dave Smith. Who is,
Yes.
you know Dave
Yeah.
Smith. So Dave Smith is Liam's oldest friend.
Yeah.
Probably one of oldest friends.
One, yeah, for
One
sure.
of. And we were like parallel to Dave for years.
Separate
And
lives.
because Dave can't communicate for anything, we love him so
100%.
much for it, but it's
100%.
completely his fault we didn't meet earlier.
It is.
It avoided this fantastic friendship.
You do really give lifelong friends.
Well,
We
thank you.
hear
People
this.
say that.
We get this.
Like, so cute.
Yeah, and so that's Dave's fault that it wasn't true.
It is.
That actually happened with me and one of my best friends as well.
It's the best way.
What, you were at the same event, like,
we were
separate?
at the same. We were at McFly gig.
Oh, that's cool. Special.
And Molly screamed, "I love you," and I heard it, and I have it on video, and now we're best friends.
That's way better than ours. That's
way
cool.
better than
That's
ours.
way better.
Oh my God, is that Molly Becker?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's
cool.
so fucking
Yeah.
cool. That's like, have you ever seen those? You could see them on Instagram, like where there's like I think there's like a Japanese couple.
I know what you're talking about.
what you mean.
Yeah, and they're on the other side of the
Yes,
fountain.
I know
yes.
exactly. They're in that would have been a major flex if we were like, we'd taken a picture and you were just in the
That being
background.
said,
yeah.
I haven't looked back on any of my Tom Misch videos.
Yeah, you don't know because I didn't
but
until we discussed it.
I remember we asking because it came my memories and I was like, hey, you said you saw Tom Misch. It was 5 years ago today. When's you? And he was like, I saw it on this day.
The camera angles are like
And then
that
we
from the
figured out,
stage.
and it's like, I was way on the left, he was way on the right. But the fact is, at a gig, you're there early and you're like, walk on, you get a drink. It's
So we
just
definitely
outrageous we
walked
didn't pass each other. Because I'm
Oh my
sure it was at...
God.
Because it was Apollo, so it wasn't much.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Apollo.
yeah.
I was going to say, it was
I mean-
Apollo, so it's
So
not
was the gig
huge.
I went to.
Oh,
It
was it? Yeah, there you go.
And we were
Yeah,
both on the ground floor. It's ridiculous how I didn't run into...
Mental. And again,
That is
very
weird.
Dave, for
Yeah.
Dave to have not said.
I'm going to go through every gig I've ever been to and try and find a husband that's like,
That's maybe
and then
that's the place
engineer
to
the
find
story.
him.
Yeah, and
Oh
then
my God,
sell
we
the
were at
script.
Yeah.
That's
You know what
a
I
good
mean?
way to...
That'd
It's a
be
good
sick.
story on your wedding day.
Oh, fantastic.
it
that was a
really
nice
is.
little segue.
That was a lovely little segue.
Would you like to introduce
Should we go on to our... Speaking of, anyway, just because you've already mentioned some artists that you're a major fan of, and I already feel like, because I know this answer, because like I said, I went through every reel,
Yeah.
every TikTok, and was
He knows
like
you better than
taking
yourself
notes
right
and was
now.
like, also, great way you market yourself, but we'll get onto that after. To give us your Mount Rushmore of music artists. So I've done this for your Mount
She
Rushmore.
knows this one too.
So we did
don't
this
think I
usually
do.
for our last one was his hip hop goats or his 4 best rappers ever. But for you, it's your 4 your 4 artists.
To make it a little bit easier then if you're struggling, your 4 artists that have kind of shaped you.
Yeah.
Because what we've been trying to
Okay.
do is, because the running theme
tailor
we
it.
have, and we always joke about, is that we didn't want to be another podcast that gets a musician on who doesn't have millions of streams already.
Yeah.
And just be like, oh, so why did you write that song? And
Yeah.
then 10 minutes of a story that no
No,
one
I
cares
love
about.
this
For sure.
question.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think this is a good way for people to go, oh shit, if that's hers, I'm going to like her.
For sure.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Okay.
if
well,
that tailors it a little bit more for you.
yeah, I'll go. Well, obviously, first I will go Olivia Dean.
I
Yeah,
thought so.
makes sense.
I just like her, the way that she phrases and writes lyrics
Yeah.
was the first person I'd heard who was that's exactly how I hear myself writing
Yeah.
lyrics.
I could totally relate.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And I think lyrics is such an important, because I've
Big part of your music as well.
yeah, like
Yeah.
I'm so honest to my detriment at times.
I don't think so.
No, I literally had one of my friends listening to my new songs the other day, and she was like, "You actually can't."
Right, okay.
She was like, "You have to wait at least a year. You have to wait for the dust to settle."
That's a good friend, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was like, "I'm not doing that."
Yeah.
He would be
Respectfully,
totally opposite for me. He'd be like, cuss that bitch out.
start a fire.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I'm so personal, and I feel like she is too. It's so like
Yeah. She's
you just
very
know
raw.
exactly what she's
Yeah.
talking about, and I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
So
I think people buy into you like that about you, just the way that she's got really successful off people doing that with her. And
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's something that you're doing really well, isn't
Thank
it? So
you.
Yeah.
because
Thank you.
me and Liam discussed anyway, like, I mean, again, sorry to hijack, but I think what's really good about your social media presence is that it reflects you perfectly and it's
Yeah,
not
for sure.
gimmicky.
I'm so
Yeah, it's
happy
very
that you've
authentic.
said that,
Yeah.
because
It is.
that is what I'm really trying to do.
Oh,
It
you
is.
really are. Because I have only recently tried to get more on the ball of my stuff. And I'm like fluttering between trying to be really genuine to being like performances to just being jumping on trends.
But I think yours is very much representative of you as a person.
Well, thank you. I mean, only because the silly gimmicky stuff is my humour anyway.
Yeah.
But I admire yours for you can literally just turn the camera and talk about anything and what you've been doing. And people are buying into it. You're laughing, but people are buying into it. I think.
Thanks.
They are. And that's what's happened really well for Olivia Dean, isn't it?
Yeah,
So I can see that.
She's so personable, and I have met her. I went to her signing, and I
Oh,
was like,
stunning.
"Oh my god, I'm such a big fan."
Did you get to see her secret set at GLASTO? Any chance?
No, but don't talk to me about it. Oh my God, no. So our bus left at 6 and her secret set was at 6. And I was like, guys, is there any
Turn the
chance?
bus around.
Is there any chance we can delay the bus now? And they were like, no, you are literally sat on a bus
God.
with the band. They
It
are
was
not waiting for you.
It literally looked like the most secret of secret sets as well.
It was on
The band was
the,
like on that table. Do you know what I mean?
That's
it was
tiny.
on the Strummerville stage, which is the stage that she played last year. Well, she did Lonely Hearts Club as well, but she played that stage last year, and then she was doing fucking Pyramid this year.
That's mad.
That's mega.
Just
so
like
mad.
mental.
Yeah.
That's huge.
So yeah, she is like very much the artist of my.
Yeah.
That's your number one then.
Fair.
You got 3 more.
I would say Arlo Parks.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like a lyric thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also just, I feel like her music is, I feel like it's just all very chilled and
Yeah.
like just like such easy listening in the best way, which is something that I aim for.
Yes. Totally.
And I also just think she's a wicked person.
She's fucking great.
I've never used the word wicked.
She's
Too
fucking wicked, mate.
accurate thingy.
Wicked.
Her whole
My
stage
dad being from
presence we
Sheffield
saw
said
as well.
wicked all the time.
Really?
Yeah, so I thought that was a Sheffield thing you were about to
No. Weird that I even said that. Okay, I've got 2 more.
2 more.
Yeah. Oh, on the Arlo thing though, I think one thing that's, again, to dissect your stuff, Arlo's really good at the lyrics being really in depth and personal and kind of emotional, but the beat's almost making you bop your head.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've always took from her is like to try and make people bop their head whilst being really sad.
It's, yeah.
But I think you've done that really well. I mean,
Yeah.
it's even Sleep on it, like the chorus, like you actually are bopping your head while you're like,
This is so tragic. Yeah, no, I've just wrote a song a couple of weeks ago about the most, I mean, it's like the saddest song I've ever written. And it is one of those, like, you wouldn't know.
they're the best kind for me.
Yeah.
respect.
And then
Totally.
we were in the studio and I was like, how can I make this even sadder? Because it doesn't feel that sad. So I like put in a voicemail of my granny talking at either side. And
that'll
my
do it.
producer Toby was like, I think we're going to have to mute it as we put it in because we can't actually listen.
That'll
to
do
this.
it.
Mix with it on.
We can't do this. We had to put it on right at the
Yeah,
last
we'll
minute.
unmute it just before it's mastered because I can't hear that every time.
Okay. 3.
I think they get harder as you go along.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
they do,
I'm
'cause
trying
you've
to
got
like think of my reference playlist.
Less
Yeah.
people to get it through.
Let me just like go through it. Oh, okay, kind of niche. Rachel Tinariri. Have you heard of her?
No.
She's like on the rise.
Okay.
And
already a Mount Rushmore. Good for
She
her.
had, she's just like at the forefront of my mind right
Nice.
now. She had a song that went viral on TikTok. It was
So
like
we might know what
lockdown
song
era.
they're
Yeah,
guessing.
possibly.
Remember, I'll always love you. You're not.
No. Maybe I'm not.
I feel like if you heard it,
Different side
Maybe
of
I've heard
TikTok.
it.
Lockdown, we were
I'm
just
on the girlies TikTok.
COD. It was just Call of Duty loadouts every day.
Potentially.
I was on like emotional montage.
Yeah, there we go.
That might, maybe we missed it then.
But she's like very authentically herself, kind of similar
Yeah.
to what I'm kind of wanting to do. She was playing the other stage. She was 2 sets before us at Glastonbury.
Right.
And I was like fangirling and she was backstage. And I was like, oh my God, I can't come over and talk to her. I'm too scared. But you know, when you can just tell someone is a really genuine,
Yeah.
she was exactly, not that I was like just sat watching her
Yeah.
backstage, but you could just tell she's exactly the person she portrays herself as.
That's
I've got big
That's
respect
nice.
for that, yeah.
Yeah. When I feel like in that situation, you could really easily be a diva.
Hell yeah.
Like when you're like, I'm backstage at Glastonbury and I'm
Yeah.
about to play my own music. Like
Yeah.
you could so easily
Yeah.
be a diva and she
Yeah.
just totally wasn't.
That's a moment in it where
Yeah.
you go one or two ways, don't
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
Really appreciative or like, fuck me, I'm sick.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like, I'm shit.
Respect
or-
yourself.
Yeah. And yeah, I think she's just great. I would like recommend her
Okay.
music. I've been doing like hammering writing sessions since I
Yeah.
moved to London. And a lot of the people that I've been writing with have also written with her. So I
Right.
like really went through her whole catalogue.
Yeah.
And was like, there's not one skip. Like they're just all really good
Interesting.
songs. So would recommend.
Okay.
It's a good third. Okay.
And I feel like my 4th, I'm gonna go.
There's one, I don't want to say it for you, but I'm really surprised you're
Oh,
not
no, go
saying it. Carole King.
Yeah.
Because
No, let's put her on it. Let's put her on it.
I'm not telling you to put her on
Let's
it.
put her on it.
But
I
just
didn't
from what
wanna
you said
cross
about the
over.
album,
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel like Carole King is a solid person.
I think she's, you know, when certain people are almost like so iconic that you don't think about them because they're just above everything.
Yeah.
Sure.
Carole King's a bit like that, especially for singer-songwriters.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I
It's
think
like,
you're right.
If you named your top 5, you wouldn't even name her.
Yeah.
She's just like...
Because it's just not given.
Yeah.
You just assume that she's
It's
in
like nobody says
everybody's.
Michael Jackson's their favourite artist.
Yeah.
Because
Fair point.
like we don't even think of Michael Jackson's
It's
a
a very
favourite.
good point.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think You've Got a Friend was like life-changing vibes for me. Like that song, not to be morbid, but it's at the top of my funeral list.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Good
that
for funeral
song,
list.
if they don't play it at my funeral, I'm rising
Waking
from,
up and
I'm
Timestamp,
rising
putting
from
it
the
on.
dead.
Timestamp.
I've got it in the notes on my phone. If I die tomorrow,
Yeah.
We'll make sure to let your family know that.
thank
okay,
you.
yeah.
They know.
Okay, gotcha.
They know.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I like cry. I music doesn't often make me cry,
but that does.
really. But that song
Yeah.
makes me sob. And do you know what crossover moment? I went to see Olivia Dean last year. I was going to say last week. I went to see her last year and she played it.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
I knew you were
that'd
going
be
to say
cool.
that. That's insane.
Sobbing.
That's crazy.
Sobbing.
That is very cool.
But that's because she's a monument artist
Yeah.
for everyone.
Oh, do you know? I mean, I've got such a cool one as well, just quick. Like, me and people were talking before about we had Jamie Lawson in the studio.
Yeah.
And we were both talking because we both loved the Wasn't Expecting That, the big song.
That song's made me cry, actually.
yeah,
as well.
and The Whole of the Moon by the Waterboys is one of my all-time favourite songs.
Yeah.
Do you know that? You
No,
know?
I don't know it.
You know, you saw the whole of the moon. You
No,
do.
I don't.
Oh, my God. You do.
No, I don't.
Fuck both of you. With the, like,
She should know more than
with
me,
a
though, to be
PH.
honest.
Like,
Yeah, sorry, I do
Yeah.
have a degree in that.
you definitely, I promise you if I played you the song, you'd know
Okay,
it, right?
okay.
Anyway, it's a big song for me and Lils, but it was the last, not to be super depressing, it's the last song that my mum and dad danced to in the kitchen before my dad passed away. So it's a big song to all of us,
Yeah.
and I love it.
Yeah.
And Lils was in the control room when he was rehearsing, and I was telling her about how mad it is having him there playing the song that meant so much to me. And then he fucking started singing that song.
Shut
Stunning.
up.
And he was doing a TikTok.
That's gorgeous.
And like, it was just
Oh
amazing.
my God, I would not be able to cope for the rest of the day.
Honestly, it was a moment that, I mean, to be fair, through that session, there was so
Did
many
you tell
times.
him?
I told him, yeah, I told him a few times,
That's
yeah.
good.
But there was so many times where he'd do something like that, and I'd be like, every time he did it, it took every bit of me to not open the door and just go and sit and watch.
Oh,
gosh,
you should have
But
done.
there was a couple of times I did, and to be fair, but like it was more because I'm very conscious of. I want this place to obviously be a safe space for artists, and it's not
Yeah.
really a safe
And
space.
professional if you're
Yeah.
like crying in the corner.
Yeah.
listening
Exactly.
to
Do you know
it.
what I mean? Yeah.
That
Sorry,
makes
just
sense.
filming this.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
you've come and booked this place, but can I just like sit and watch?
It makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah,
I do
yeah.
Cry
get it.
over you all. Do you know
That
what
is
I mean?
valid,
Yeah,
to be fair.
that's
Trying
valid.
to balance that. And across 3 days, I got my fair share of watching it,
Yeah.
to be fair. But anyway, yeah, sorry for hijacking that. But there's something about seeing an artist that you love cover another song that means a lot
Yeah,
to you.
that's special.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
mean,
cool.
and that's why I'm always a big fan of covers. It's a bit of a,
Yeah.
taboo in it with original artists, but I fucking love
Yeah, no, I
throwing
mean,
songs that mean a lot to you.
yeah, like we obviously know that doing covers gigs is imperative to being an
Yeah,
artist.
exactly, yeah.
And I think people can tell, like when you sing a song that really means something to you, play it.
Yeah.
It resonates with people.
Exactly. I also think it's a really good way to show people what you're about.
Yeah,
I mean, as
100%.
like me and Pippa were discussing before, like I think throwing a cover in your original set for the 50 people that have never heard you before, like not only does it like bring their
Keep them
attention up a little
engaged.
bit
Yeah.
and keep them engaged,
Yeah.
but they can hear what you've done with the song.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that translates really well to like,
It
oh,
says
that's what
so
they're
much
about.
you. It
Exactly.
says so much about you.
Exactly.
If I was at the gig when for you first did like Frank Ocean
Yeah.
Nikes for the
Nikes,
first
yeah.
time, I go, oh, I immediately know we would be friends because
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
like this and you're performing in a way that I think is really cool.
Literally.
Yeah, yeah,
So I think
yeah.
that's really valid.
Like when you did, was it Evergreen?
yeah.
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 Sick.
I mean, it was
I'm-
sick because of Pippa, to be fair.
yeah, she
I'm-
just wanted that. So it was sick because I was
Yeah, yeah.
backing vocals.
Context, I had
Yeah.
three
I made
incredible
it sick.
backing vocalists and Pippa was one of them. That was
Yeah.
some context there. But that was, I mean, I still look back and want to record the backing vocals of that.
Oh my God, you totally
It
should.
was so
You should.
fucking
You
good.
totally should.
So fucking good. Well, yeah, exactly that. But because also it doesn't have to be an artist that everybody knows as well. to do the
No.
cover of.
No,
I mean,
no.
Frank Ocean's a really good one for my stuff because I think if you like Frank Ocean, I like to think you like my stuff, but not everybody knows Frank Ocean.
Yeah.
No, but also
a bit
like
like
when you
Olivia
did
Dean, I guess.
Yeah.
Dominic Fikes, what song was
Politics
it?
and Violence.
Politics
yeah.
and Violence. I think it's another good one where it feels so you that I can't remember. My sister when I first played it, she thought it was
remember-
you
yeah,
singing
yeah,
it.
Yeah, that was
Because
Oh,
it just
what a
one, it sounds like your voice
flex.
anyway, even though he's American, he sounds so
smug.
different.
You are so
She's like, oh, I
smug.
thought, she
I
was
think
like,
it's the best
I thought this was Sam's music. I was like, it's not, but it's very
Yeah.
much
I would
him.
have died on the spot.
It's
I
a
swear to
Sam
God,
Kappa variant.
It's the most music nerd thing I'll ever say. But and I think you might have been at RNTM while it happened. But when Snarky Puppy came in, I know they've been in a few times.
Yeah.
But there was one time they came in for a masterclass, and my colleague bass player for Snarky Puppy, said the best compliment you can get off someone is if they can hear your inspirations in your music.
Yeah.
Because it means you've done something right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Basically,
valid.
every single artist, even Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, everyone you can think of, everyone is a bad attempt at sounding like they're
Yeah.
That's a great
Yeah.
point.
because we all strive to sound like A, B, and C in a morph. And the happy accident can still be great or whatever. But if they can hear that, you've done something right.
I agree.
So whenever anyone says anything like Frank Ocean, James Blake,
Yeah.
Tyler Creator,
Yeah.
Dominic Fike, Daniel Caesar, anything, I'm like,
That's me.
Stop.
thanks.
That's me.
Yeah, you're actually right.
Correct.
Yeah, I do sound like that. On purpose.
Intentional.
Intentional.
great point.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think that's a big old compliment.
That's lovely. To keep it moving on, because I
Yeah.
really want to get to your TikTok and the way you market yourself and
Hell
whatever. I've
yeah.
got some
Yeah.
questions around that. A quick this or that.
Oh.
That we want to do. So we've got some
Okay.
Quick
questions.
fire.
So no thoughts on it at all.
Okay.
Just give us your one word answer to some this or that. Don't overthink
Okay.
it. Okay.
Me, not everything.
I mean, you're allowed to justify it if you really
You
want.
yeah,
Okay,
if you feel like you
no.
need to back it, then explain it. Do you know what I
Okay.
mean?
And it's a range of silly and serious. It's going to keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay. So to start us
You
off,
get the first half.
I think even from the first one, you're going to want to go, I need 20 minutes to think about this. Lyrics or melody first?
Lyrics.
Cool.
Wow.
Summer or winter?
Nah.
Well, summer. But
Oh.
I love Christmas. Christmas has got to
Okay.
get its juice.
It's summer, but it's close. Yeah. Okay.
I'm like that though.
Sabrina or Taylor Swift?
Sabrina.
Okay. Comedy or drama?
Comedy.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Cocktail or spirits?
Cocktail.
Early-
Who's saying spirit?
This is what I wanted to know. This wasn't in your
Okay.
TikTok.
These are the questions we want to know.
Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Yeah.
Solo or band performance?
Band.
Classic hits or chart toppers?
Classic hits.
Museum or art gallery? Really?
Art.
This is your
gallery.
next one's yours. Interesting. Okay, so if anyone's interested in taking Pippa on a date, just know, avoid those two things.
Yeah, don't go anywhere cultural.
Yeah.
Big Tesco will do.
Big Tesco. Yeah, I love it. Go on, you're doing the next 11. I love the Easter eggs.
Do you know how hard it took me to not say that?
Yeah.
And then you went and said
You're
it.
already thinking of it. You're already thinking of it.
I don't know if that's...
Anyway.
Move it on.
So the next 10. Singing indoors or singing outdoors?
Indoors, I have really bad hay fever.
Oh, how's the festival season been?
Really
with that?
difficult.
Oh my God.
I have these really extra strong hay fever
Right.
tablets and that Piriton on crack. And I've had to take like 7 of them in a day.
Oh,
I would have thought you would have said outdoor because you mostly, I've seen you like outdoor.
They're cooler gigs, I
These
guess.
grand
They are
events, but
cooler, but
You've
but
also got like
also-
wind
Being a
blowing your
singer on
face and all
stage or
sorts. I
congested
can
as a
imagine.
singer.
I think
guys.
that going and doing a sound check in somewhere like, this is such a name drop, but when you go in and sound check in somewhere like the Royal Albert Hall or the O2 and seeing it empty,
Yeah.
seeing,
Might drop.
but seeing like a outdoor venue empty is just kind of, well, it's
deceiving.
outside.
Just outside. I get that. That makes sense.
I sometimes find that seeing an arena like that empty is actually more impressive.
Oh my God.
Because you're like, fucking hell. Like,
It's fucking huge.
yeah, it looks insane.
Yeah.
And like, you're right, when you play a festival, even if it was, not that I ever have, even if you play Pyramid Stage empty, it's just a field, isn't
Yeah.
it, really?
A nice one.
A great field.
Great
the
field.
grass looks great before everyone's walked on
Yeah.
it. Still grass, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's still
Like,
grass. I had to wear a hoodie last night and I had my sunglasses
So
on.
long-winded.
I looked like a brick, to be completely honest.
in all black though.
Fair.
Yeah.
Could it was still fitting. Anyway, this is an essential one.
Okay.
Sheffield or Manchester?
Oh, the pause.
Like me, Pippa has feet in both camps.
Yeah, true. But you're.
Say Sheffield because I grew up there.
It makes
Totally
sense.
But now I actually have family in Sheffield and Manchester. And I feel like to give Manchester its credit,
Do it.
As you should.
I feel actually like it's quite a home.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like I lived in Liverpool for a bit and I never felt like that was really home. Manchester does feel like home, but also I've just chosen to move out of it.
Yeah, but that's for other reasons, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's fair.
but Sheffield is like my home, my real
Okay.
like home.
You've already gone one further than me. I would just refuse to answer.
You're much more Manchester
I
side
am
than
much
you
more
are
Manchester,
than
to
you
be
think.
fair. But,
Yeah.
Evidently by the 9 United shirts.
Yeah.
I'm picking right now.
I think objectively Manchester is better than Sheffield. That's not difficult at all.
But it's a person. It's
Yeah.
a relative thing.
But,
It's for you.
But like,
Sheffield's good at feeling like home for many
yeah,
people, I think.
and like I live near like Peak District, and it's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
most
same,
beautiful
yeah.
place.
Yeah.
It really
I mean, I
is.
guess Manchester can somewhat claim that as well, but like
Not the same way.
not the same
No,
way.
I get that.
Yeah. I mean, some quick fire this, isn't it? But-
Yes,
Yeah, go
sorry.
on, sorry,
No,
carry
totally
on.
my fault. Well, on that city or countryside.
Countryside.
You were sure?
City.
Oh,
city.
sure.
Did a quick 180.
Okay, now I apologise for this. Olivia Dean or Holly Humberston?
Olivia Dean.
Oh, okay. Okay. Boy Genius or Clairo?
Boy Genius.
Yeah, I thought you'd say that one. James or the Stone Roses?
James.
Yeah, I agree. Guitar or piano?
Guitar, because I'm currently learning it.
Yeah.
I would have thought you said piano, only because obviously I watched your tits talk about how hard it is.
Oh,
playing guitar
cool.
because your fingers
it's
were
fucking
like
hard,
yeah,
but it's more rewarding.
that
More
makes
rewarding.
sense.
As a piano player who has learned guitar later in life, it's definitely more rewarding, I think.
Yeah, and also all my music is predominantly guitar.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
You kind of have to learn it.
It's,
Yeah.
But that's probably, you've set yourself something to get to there, I guess, haven't you? Mm-hmm. But the fingers are not going to help.
No, the
not gonna
fingers
thank you,
are
should I
the
say.
fingers are sensitive right now.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Small, intimate venue or arena/festival, which you are qualified to answer.
Yeah.
Very different experiences.
Yeah, small, intimate. But that doesn't mean to say that I wouldn't like to play the pyramid stage with my own music. I would
Of
love
course.
that, and I
Yeah,
would
yeah,
not say no.
Speak it into existence.
Yeah.
You tell
You're
them.
allowed to say that.
Manifesting.
Yeah, say it.
Right. Vinyls or streaming?
Vinyls until you can pay me properly.
That's the right answer. That's the right answer. Tell them. Tell them.
That one. Writing collaboratively or solo?
A year ago, I would have said solo, but now I would say collaboratively.
Interesting. I thought you would. And finally, writing about personal experience or fictional?
Personal. I don't think I've written one song about fictional experience.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to play it anymore.
Hence why your friend's telling you,
Yeah.
dial it back. Like,
I'm too
the
real.
stories are,
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I'm too real.
I'm not fictional enough.
yeah, you're very much the same as well.
Oh, well, yeah, I
Keep
guess
it
so.
very,
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, we all sit here and say, like, it sounds easy to someone, that's only really stupid, to someone who doesn't write music, it sounds really easy to, like, think of this perfect fucking story and write this song, but it doesn't come out, does it?
no.
No. And I think you can tell, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you're a really experienced songwriter, and obviously there's only so much life experience that you can
Yeah.
have, and you don't want to kind of cause chaos just for a song, even though I'm partial to that. But like, so I guess there's an element of fabricating things and stuff. But
Yeah.
I think you can look at it makes you look at your experiences in life in so many different angles.
Yeah, yeah.
That like I think it's sick.
I think you're right, though, because, like, with a more experienced writer, then being able to do that is where you tap into just actual skills and, like,
Yeah.
like almost like the checklist of, like, Ed Sheeran, for example. I'm not a massive Ed Sheeran fan, but Ed Sheeran is really good. And to be fair, quite well, admits that he's really good at just, like, distancing himself from what he's doing and just going, I know, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point.
Yeah.
If I hit those three, it's going to be a good song.
Yeah.
Block it out.
Yeah.
And he's quite admitting about how he's written some shit that's done really well.
Just to prove he could do it. 'cause it's
Well,
so
more
easy.
just like as in writing for other people, I think you get that experience where you know what the ingredients are.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? The
Well,
Well,
seasoning.
yeah, he's obviously worked it out, hasn't
Exactly.
he? But-
Whereas like me personally, I don't think I'm an amazing writer, but I think the stuff that comes out naturally is the only stuff that's any good that I
yeah,
do.
I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
I agree. I think, I mean, like I said, I think it's easier to resonate when you know someone's being honest.
Yeah, true.
And yeah, like I've been writing with a lot of different people recently, and it's
Yeah.
like strangers that you go into a room with, and you
Oh,
just
that's
write songs.
crazy, yeah.
It's fucking bizarre. But you have to be very honest, and I don't have a problem being honest. I will tell everyone everything, which is a problem. But
Nah.
like I've found in a couple of situations, people will suggest lyrics, and I'm like, I just can't use it because it doesn't resonate with me at
Yeah.
all.
Especially
Of
as I'm a producer, I find it really irritating. I irritate myself when, like, you know, when, for example, I mean, I can't even think of a song lyric, but like, if you'd written this sentence and I go, oh, well, maybe change the it to at as the producer. Do you know what? Sometimes I just want to be like, just shut the fuck up. Because I honestly, I will
Makes
go
such
to
a
say it all the
difference.
time as a producer, and I'm like, just
Yeah.
if they're struggling, they'll tell you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, don't
Yeah.
let them do their job.
Yeah.
You know?
It is
Makes
actually
sense.
difficult because like I've always written songs on my own, and my producer Toby and I have started writing a lot together.
Yeah.
And obviously we know each other so well. He's like my best friend.
Yeah.
So I feel very comfortable.
Of course.
But some of the songs that we've written are like from very joint places. Like we went through breakups at the same time.
Oh, so we can lean in a little bit.
So he, and has done a lot, and I love that. But like, it means that if I want to change a lyric, I have to go to him and be like, is it okay if I change this word? And I've had this with one of my songs that will probably come out soon.
Right.
And he's been like, no, I don't want to change that. And I'll be like, well, I do.
Oh.
And so we're battling about it at the moment. And I'm like, right, okay, well, when we play it live, I'll sing it differently and see what you think. And it's like, it's not as easy anymore. Whereas before, I can just sing what I want.
That's a good point.
My name's on it, so I'll have the final say.
Oh,
You should.
Makes sense. Right. Yeah, Ian singing the lyrics.
No.
No, it makes total sense.
Go on then, Liam.
So get on
Hit
to
me with the next bit.
Yeah, so to get onto, I guess, like I said, your TikTok and only doing it so well. And I think only because I'm such a stickler for the numbers, negatively so too much.
Oh,
on
I
our
am
own
as well.
Thingy.
It's easy. We're all becoming like that.
Yeah.
And it's, I think like, I saw Sam speak about this not too long ago when he said that a modern artist, you have to be this social media expert and perfect extrovert and just the best at selling your short story, whatever, in such an impactful way to a stranger.
Yeah.
And I think you do it really well.
Yeah.
But
Thank
I guess
you.
for you, what would you say are some tips to other musicians or aspiring people to try and, authentically, because that's certainly the word that we will find looking for your stuff, show off
To grow.
themselves without seeming like you're a product of Pippa Crossland. Do you know what I mean?
I think what I was doing for ages that just wasn't working for me was looking at hashtags of things that I wanted to, things that I was wanting to do.
Yeah.
And looking at everything else that was doing well and then replicating it.
Yeah.
I know people do that a lot. And I think to an extent you can make it fit for you. But I was doing it and it was like, I was doing the same, like carbon copies all the time.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't, you could just tell it was like a script every time.
Yeah.
And then it was someone who said to me, like, why aren't you posting about the gigs that you're doing for other people? And I was like, I think it's a weird crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want people to see me as a backing vocalist because I love it and I will continue to do it, but like that's not what I want people to know me for.
Well, pin in that because I'm going to ask you that later.
But like also it is a really good way of showing people the things that you can do to be an artist, because it's expensive.
Oh my God.
And you've got to be able to fund it somehow. And I am lucky that I get to fund it in a really interesting way and do really fun things.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I feel like since I've been doing that content, it's just been so much more like, I feel like I can properly talk about.
Yeah.
I can properly like explain who I am and what I do and like other parts of me. And so I feel like, I mean, I don't know, I'm quite an expressive person. And I think I was trying to not be as expressive well, not consciously, but like I was trying to say things in a way that people would be able to digest easier.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Maybe thinking too much though.
Yeah, definitely overthinking it. And
same,
since I've been just like captioning and talking on TikToks how I actually talk, it's been, people have definitely responded to it better.
Definitely.
I mean, I'm no way near like, I'm not like viral. My videos aren't doing exceptionally well, but like I've definitely seen a difference.
But that's one thing I think me and Liam wanted to say, that I think looking from the outside, what's worked really well for you is whether you notice it or not. I mean, I know there's obviously a million other factors, but that's translating into your music fan base.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
your streams are doing really well with complete independent strategies and all that. But,
Organic reach.
yeah,
of it.
exactly.
Yeah.
But there's something really special and rare, I'm going to say, of like these days that actually working and translating, because we can all put a couple of videos on TikTok, gain a bit of a following, but who's going to actually buy into what you're doing?
Yeah.
Yep.
And, I mean, we're really lucky. Some people have bought into what we're doing here, and that's great. But like, it's so hard to do, and you can't like put a hashtag in that's going to get people to just buy in.
No.
But you being honest, people can buy into you.
Yeah, and I think like it's so easy to kind of compress yourself and to like go get smaller and be really serious.
Yeah.
And I am so unserious. And like I've even just something like I've had a private story on like Snapchat and Instagram for years. And I vlog like I'm a YouTuber. Like I vlog like people are really interested in my life. And
To your 12 private friends.
yeah. I've got like 40 on my private Instagram. And my friends love it. Like I'm not, they like, I get texts all the time like, what are you doing today? Like, I want to see. And I think using my TikTok more like that, like just like a little story is like, I find it fun.
Yeah.
And I think I'll start to do it. I enjoy just like chatting shit and oversharing.
It's such a good point.
Yeah.
And I think that people like that.
It is, but people like to see other people win and do well. So like, I watched your one today when you were like running through town because you'd heard that your face on a billboard in Printworks.
Oh, it was
and obviously
mad.
going to see it is simple enough where you could have just taken a picture and gone, you know, really cool moment. But I think because you're taking us on a journey as you're listening, we go, I'm buying into you as an individual, someone who's excited about this.
Yeah.
And I think certainly it speaks onto you as an independent artist as well.
Yeah.
And obviously being able to make them decision yourself of what do I think works best for this person that I want to represent.
Yeah.
And there was another one when you mentioned, when you talk about Olivia D, another artist that you're a big fan of, and you go, also, my name is Pippa Crossland. If you like this is the kind of stuff I do. So you're already painting a picture of people going, well, I love these artists. So obviously I'm going to check her out.
Well, also I think because like a lot of the stuff I was doing before was just like, I'm Pippa Crossland, this is my story. And like just giving it straight away.
We're all told to do that.
And
we?
people are like, you're not going to stop scrolling for that. I don't. So I don't know why
And
I
you
would.
probably see it 10 times.
Yeah. I'm an original independent artist. Like, so is everyone.
Yeah.
Like, we all are.
Yeah.
So I think that's what I've found has worked, like saying more interesting stuff that I actually would say, and then at the end being like, by the way, this is my name.
It's so interesting as well because I think, I mean, we had a similar conversation a while ago of like the TikTok experts and the analysts and blah, blah, blah will come out every couple of weeks when the algorithm changes and go, do this, do this, do this, do this. And then something they completely don't expect always trumps it all. And it's so funny in it considering that we've all got terrible attention spans now. And we all like decide in 2 seconds whether we're going to watch it or not.
Yeah.
And yet, whether it's you, I mean, obviously I know you, but like a total stranger can just say like story time and start talking. And I just find myself watching it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I who behind a computer that's doing the stats would think that us with our fried brain cells would
100%.
actually listen to a 5-minute story?
Yeah.
And they do.
You just do.
All the time. I mean, like I've posted stuff that I only posted just to think, oh, fuck it, I'll tell a story. Like similar to what you were saying. And some of them have actually done well. And I'm like, since when was that going to do well?
It's the same on our own videos that we've done something like 150 TikToks now and going.
Yeah.
Like in 5-6 months, only since January.
Crazy.
So like crazy volume. And every video go, this I've put just so much time into, looks amazing. It is a polished artifact. It's getting no engagement, nothing, no one cares. And then it's every single one that takes me 5 minutes on the way out is my phone's blowing up with notifications.
So classic.
But I think it's authenticity that really sells more than anything.
Yeah.
And I think anything that's too polished or too, if you said, hi, I'm Pippa Crossland, you've got a nice gorgeous light on you and a perfect backdrop and everything, I'm not interested in what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think everything's been because of, well, I don't know, like to say the internet sounds too like general, but even just everything being a bit more accessible for people to make good content these days, whether it's a light, like you say, or a better phone or a better camera or whatever, like, because we're seeing that much of it, it's almost like now someone can have all the gear and no idea. It doesn't actually mean it's a better product.
No.
So now people are almost like the most perfect polished thing can be there and it doesn't catch people anymore.
Yeah.
It's not the one that stands out of your feed. It's not like you flick through 9 amateurs and one good anymore. There's probably 10 really good like pieces of content, but like which one of them's going to go that bit further and catch you, or which one of them's actually very good, you know. And I think, and like I mean, all the experts are starting to say authenticity, but like so much easier said than done.
It is,
100%.
You know, of course, but like I mean, Pippa's does really well because you are very authentic and people can buy into that anyway. But if you said, I mean, I saw the best example the other day, and I think we might have even brought this up on the pod before talking about this, but like someone nailed it when it was like Tom York, the singer from Radiohead.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine if he had to like
this is the song
write
some
of his songs and then release them and have to film himself talking?
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
No,
it's just like, it's such a different thing.
We would have never heard.
Yeah.
And again, like musicians and creatives and artists, we are weirdos. Not all of us can do that.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that your product isn't fantastic.
Yeah. I think you've got to find a way that like genuinely works for you.
Yeah, that's true.
And it is just experimenting, like you say, like just I think with TikTok, it's just like keeping doing it.
Yeah.
And then you find a rhythm with it.
Yeah.
And it's once you're in that rhythm, it's like you can't guarantee, but
well, true. I mean, Liam's probably going to say as well, but because we obviously I followed you on TikTok for a while, but Liam seen it quickly and then me going back seeing it quickly, you can see quite black and white where, I mean, only now you're saying this as well, where it went from doing the stuff you think you were supposed to do to doing this newer stuff in the last few weeks, months.
Yeah.
And it's like, not that it's night and day, but it is.
I think it is.
You know what I mean? Well, only when you're flicking through it in 10 minutes, it seems so obvious.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the ones that are a template or the ones that are you talking about something real.
Yeah.
It's like way more engaging anyway.
Yeah.
You've cracked your code, mate.
It's buying into an individual, which I think is so much more. Even the best song I will ever hear, or my favourite song of all time,
Sleep on It by Pippa.
of course,
Type it up.
That's where I was going with this. But like my favourite song of all time, if it's on a TikTok and a 2-second video, I'm already off it if it doesn't grab me, or doesn't have a Minecraft video underneath it or something stupid.
Yeah, honestly,
every video needs like a racing game or something stupid underneath it.
It's crazy that I actually think that is mental.
It is. You
really
went
bad
to
in
see
it, but like,
1975
I do it, but it's bad.
Did they do it at 1975? Like, because I saw that when he was talking, he'd have like someone like making something out of wood on a picture next to him, or a clip from
the
GTA.
Minecraft jumping videos, the GTA videos, the
I
racing.
think that honestly is the wildest thing that
it
is.
It's very, very meta in it.
Yeah, hate.
Yeah, so I think with now an age where long form content is so valuable because it's so hard to get to, where before you think about, and I can't remember who we were talking this with. I don't know if it was you or with James last week. We were talking when you were a kid, the way you listen to James,
my mate James,
your mate James.
James.
When we listened to music, you would never, because there was no thing as streaming, you would only listen to it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So you would know music videos like the back of your hand.
Oh, true.
Like that's where all your favourite artists.
I missed that.
You didn't know albums. You only knew their biggest songs because they were the only ones with music videos. If it didn't have a music video, your favourite artist, you didn't know the song.
Yeah.
Because that's the way we consumed music when we were kids, or certainly I did.
Yeah.
And then I think it's because we were obviously at Avril Lavigne, and we were talking about, I remember this video was for this and that.
Nostalgic, weren't you?
Very nostalgic.
Yeah.
So that's the way it felt.
Were the days.
Do you know what I mean?
Very
and now
true.
it's hard to get, if you've done the most
the
beautiful
Skateboy video right now.
Yeah, the most incredible
true.
music video. How are you getting your audience to that video?
Yeah.
Because I'm not making it there on my own or finding it. And now that Kerrang died last week on TV. Do you see that they made the last ever, like those music channels are just dying where they play music all day, every day.
MTV died ages ago, and it's just.
But that was the biggest thing that put so many artists on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you remember,
for the first
does
time.
anyone remember Freshly Squeezed?
That sounds very familiar, but I can't
It was
think
Channel
what it
4,
is.
and it was what I'd watch before going to school.
I don't remember that.
I mean,
How old are you?
23.
yeah. I feel like it'd be
a
more
bit older.
I think it'd be more me to you.
Potentially.
Me to you.
familiar.
It was
Did you
like.
watch Chucklevision? Just because you said to me to you? Or is that
I'm aware
also
of
too
it.
young?
Did you get your new music off Chucklevision?
Yeah. Funnily enough.
Yeah. Well, because Freshly Squeezed was a music show, and it wasn't aimed to kids by any means, but like, you know, when there was just shit TV on in the morning.
Yeah.
Like I'd always watch Everybody Loves Raymond and Frasier and like shit like that.
See, I never watched telly like that in the morning. My mum would just have like the news.
The news.
Isn't that shit?
Yeah. You're actually watching like
hate the
Ducking Down in
news.
the Bungalow and you're watching
you
the
being all
news.
mature from a simple age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I know, but then I would come home and it'd be like, deal or no deal. And I'd be like, get it.
Deal or no
I
deal?
would, Deal or No Deal was like every night.
Religious.
Come home from
Really?
school. Only because you'd flick the TV on.
4 o'clock.
And 4 o'clock.
I'm
Think about it,
watching
what time
Drake and
does school
Josh at
finish?
4 o'clock as soon as I get back
Oh
home.
no, I remember so vividly sitting at the kitchen table and the music, because it got brought back recently.
Yeah.
With
Oh,
Stephen Mulhern. Not as good.
I didn't know that. And you've
But
you just lifted my
Noel
spirits
Evans
and
is
crushed
still
them in
alive.
I know, I'm really sorry.
Noel Evans
it's
didn't want to
gutting.
come back. He's still alive.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if he's like tiny bit cancelled.
I won't be surprised.
But anyway.
He's got a cancelled face, hasn't
Yeah,
he? Like,
the music-
You look
the-
at him and think, you've said something bad about black people.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
oh.
Like, I can see it in his face.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Potentially.
He put Stop the Boats on his Twitter at some point. You just see it. I didn't even need to look at his Twitter to know it. It's so true,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it? The haircut.
Yeah, so
Yeah, the haircut. He was on Amsterdam and it was like every moment.
Stephen
you were like,
Mulhern's a good presenter though. I like him in catchphrase.
Yeah, I like Steve.
That's a good catchphrase.
He's that kind of, he's so lucky that we all bought into him before media got less cringy.
Potentially.
Yeah.
that's
TV is
it.
not as cringy as it used to be in the 2000s.
I think he's a bit slimy.
I think he's
you?
cringy.
Have
but
you met him before?
I like him.
Because I know you've bumped shoulders a lot
Almost.
of like, you know, artists and
Yeah, no,
brushed
I haven't
shoulders.
met him. But when I was like 14 or 15, Britain's Got Talent contacted me like they do everyone to go and
spoilers, it's fake as fuck.
Don't throw your own accomplishments down the drain of everyone. I don't think that's an everyone thing of just they contact
I was
me.
14, I'd put a video of me singing like fucking Hallelujah or something on Instagram.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
YouTube, and they reached out. My mum
Do you want to get on the semi-final?
My mum was like, oh my God, you have to do it. You have to do it. 14-year-old me was like, no, that's so cringe. Which like all credit to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to the like
I'd have caved at
ITV.
14.
I went to the
Totally
ITV officers, and oh my God, it was crazy. Like they made me sing, and then they were like, okay, and they basically were like, what's your sob story?
Oh, I fully
What's the
believe it.
difficulties in your life? 14-year-old me was like, oh my God, I can't even go into. I
didn't have Sky TV.
No, honestly,
Don't
I
do
gave the
this,
most privileged answers. It was awful.
My mum won't let me watch Disney Channel.
Yeah, but he was like working at those offices, so I almost met him.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Your story wasn't good. Your story wasn't sad enough.
I know.
That's what it was.
I know.
You need to be like kicked down the
14, who
stairs.
the fuck's got a sad story?
Do you know what I
That's
mean?
such a stupid thing to say. So many people have.
You had such a
Everyone has it
privileged life.
great.
So
I was more thinking like you haven't lived yet.
Yeah.
But, like,
no,
of
it's
course.
very early.
Yeah.
But still.
I mean, Christ, I would have caved at 14. But I would have had no story. No, I fucking would have had a story.
You did great. You should go on.
Yeah, well,
You're a good singer as well. You'll get right through to the end with a good story.
Do you get that all the time? You should
Every
go on
family
Voice.
member.
You should go on. Why don't you just
there's
go
something,
on
Let me be
X
me.
Factor?
there's something about uncles, isn't there? It's like, oh, I saw this person.
But
and
to
then
them
think,
though,
you need to just go on it.
But I think to them though, in their day, that was the way to make it.
No, it's so true.
They go,
It is true,
there'll
yeah.
be people in your family who will see you've got 20,000 likes on your TikTok,
Yeah.
you're closing in at, and go, well, she's not Britain's Got Talent though, is
Yeah.
she? She's not X Factor like that
Yeah.
carries the weight it used to do when, in the 2000s when every man and his dog was watching it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's different now, but
Paul Potts couldn't win BGT anymore, mate. It's not that world anymore.
I still remember that,
Honestly,
like,
it drives
people
me
like
insane.
Doja Cat got big from TikTok.
Yeah.
I remember she was blown up on TikTok, and then now she's the biggest artist.
Literally.
And it's only because of places like TikTok that
Yeah.
are just pushing
Yeah.
people's music.
Yeah.
So,
Well, here's a road question for you then, because on that note, and it might help me segue into the next bit.
Go on.
But do you have like, especially now you're doing some really cool shit on your side hustle, do you get family members being like, oh, well, like, you'll actually make it though one day, and like not as if, not in a dickhead way, because they don't, and mine don't, but like almost not understanding that where you are now is quite successful in its own right.
No, I think I'm
Do you know
really
what I mean?
lucky that my family, they really back it.
Yeah.
And they see how that can help
Yeah.
me. But I have had comments before from family and extended family and friends and whatever, like, oh, if you're not famous in a year, are you gonna like?
Yeah, that's kind of what I
sack
meant,
it?
really. Yeah, that's a better way of putting it.
Yeah, which like I actually understand. And in my family, like I'm the only freelancer. I'm the only person who kind of wings it.
Yeah.
And I think that people really struggle with that, which I understand.
It's
'cause,
alien to many people,
yeah,
isn't it?
like my big sister is, and no shade to her, she's so successful. She's an accountant. She's doing really well.
Nice.
She's living in London. She's thriving. She's slaying.
Slay.
Truly. And I completely get why she looks at me and she's like, fucking hell, like, how do you not know how you're going to earn your money, like, from one week to the next?
I get you.
So I do get it, but I think, on the whole,
It's a bit of an
lucky that-
old-fashioned thing, I guess, isn't it? Like,
I think so. And I think it's just like, when you're so used to one thing.
Yeah.
Like I just the same as I cannot imagine going to sit in an office every day and being an accountant.
Yeah.
My idea of hell.
Mm-hmm.
But like go
She's
off
probably thinking
queen.
the same thing.
Yeah.
About like, oh my God, not knowing where my next paycheck's going to come
Yeah.
from. I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. There's pros and cons to everything.
Of
but
course
like,
there is. That's a good point.
I'm, my work is taking me really cool places. So like, I don't, respectfully, I don't care.
Innit?
Yeah.
And I literally always say, I'm like, fucking hell, if I'm struggling at 30, then have a chat with me again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like, while I can, I will.
I'm 23.
It's
yeah,
nothing.
so much time.
Do you know what I mean?
It's
Like
so
this
much
is what I
time.
was thinking when I like made a big life change and moved to London, because I was like, if I don't like it,
I can come
guys,
back.
it's not the end of the world.
I
can come back.
It's not that bad. Yeah,
It's not that deep.
Really
and
is.
that's like quite unlike me to wing it that much. But like yesterday when I was at this festival, I was sat with the drummer and two of the other backing vocalists and we were like eating ice cream from catering.
Yeah.
The drummer was like, isn't this fucking crazy that this is our job?
Yeah.
Like, that's mental. And I was like, God, yeah.
It's crazy. Post lockdown, we've all had a bit of a like reaffirmation of shit. We're lucky.
I'm so lucky.
Because I even found myself playing pub gigs and
Yeah.
thinking, this is still pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Do you know what
also
I would have killed
though,
for this over COVID. Do you know
Oh my
what I mean?
God, for sure.
not to derail your segue at all, you can find it again. But
I'll
like,
reseg.
when they talk about that though, that I think success is still such an enormous spectrum.
True.
That you think about
Completely
loads of
agree.
your favourite artists, or loads of my favourite artists could walk down Market Street and no one would clock who they are.
Yeah,
But
good
they're
point.
making an enormous living
Yeah.
on their music and do what
Yeah.
they love, but they're not a household name, but they don't need it because they're
Yeah.
still absolutely killing
It's
it.
so relative. And like, yeah, I don't know. I would, like, me 10 years ago or whatever, like, I'm not going to lie, I had a very privileged upbringing.
Yeah.
And I was always of the notion that, like, I'm going to go and get a really successful job
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
going to climb the ladder and I'm going to buy a house and I'm
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
X, Y, and Z.
That's the generational like.
Yeah, like that. It just
pattern.
within my how I
Circles.
grew up.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
just what I thought for such a long time. Like even when I was 18, I was like, I have to go to uni.
Yeah.
It's not an option.
Yeah.
And luckily, I obviously went to a uni that allowed me all of these opportunities. But
course.
like, I had a moment of it when I finished uni, and I was like, okay, well now I need to step into my career. And my mum was like, do you not realise that you're kind of already doing your career?
Yeah.
Like you've been working as a session player for 2 years. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
you've got a point.
Yeah. But that segues into, which is not what I was going to talk about, but when you talk about feeling like an imposter before, that is the most relatable thing as an artist, isn't it? The
Oh my
imposter syndrome.
God,
I know
yeah.
there's a million videos out there of people talking about it, but it affects literally every person who creates anything
Yeah.
of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, fourth year of RNTM, for example, our fourth year of our degree is basically going and doing it for real.
Yeah.
And I think it's the best thing
I agree.
that especially a creative degree could possibly do.
Yeah, I
Because
agree.
that safety net of, I was the same. It was basically just doing what I do now,
Yeah.
but with a student loan.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have gone into real life without that.
I completely
Yeah.
agree.
Do you know what I mean?
completely
Forget the
agree.
fact that COVID derailed it all. But
Yeah.
like, I couldn't have gone into that
Yeah.
at all. Because getting up working till stupid late, doing writing sessions as a producer in fourth year, and then waking up stupid late, and that being okay.
You need it.
I couldn't have, I would have stepped out of university otherwise and gone, shit.
Where do I start?
Where do I start?
Yeah, for sure. I get
Yeah.
it.
But you're
for
right.
sure.
I mean, by finishing RNTM, you've done umpteen gigs, fucking thousands, played for bare artists, made
Yeah.
loads of connections.
Yeah.
It is as simple as that. Isn't
I must say though, without sounding like the most unrelatable person ever, I still do. Like, I was on that tour,
it? Yeah.
like on my laptop in my bunk on the tour bus, looking for work for when I got back, and
okay,
having
yeah.
like full on panic attacks. Like,
Course.
I'm going to be so poor when I get back.
100%.
And so it's like that's what I find really difficult about it. But that is just part and parcel, I think.
That's the perfect segue.
Oh,
I
Go on
keep
then.
doing the. I
You
keep
do
going
this
to
like
that.
every episode.
Every episode. I keep going to do that.
He
I keep
does it.
doing Illuminati.
he does it every episode. He's trying to
That
tire a
wasn't
leaf.
Illuminati, that was Strauss. But,
Yeah.
Don't be suspicious. Because what I was going to say was I found I want to talk about balance, really, the balance of that lifestyle. But that's a good way of saying it because, for example, I feel very grateful that my dad was a plumber, so he was always self-employed. So I was a bit used to my dad working relentlessly and then him just being around for 3 days because he didn't have any work. And then him just being like,
Just not working.
nothing, I'm just not working.
Yeah.
And him stressing and then phone ringing, bang, there's a week's work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, even though my dad stopped working for illness when I was 19, I'd obviously just seen enough of that. So now I'm completely different, but also self-employed and not knowing where the next paycheck is.
Yeah.
It's fucking stressful. It's
Yeah.
the
so
most stressful thing about our job by far.
Yeah,
Makes
100%.
And it's so typical because what I'm eventually going to get onto, the balance part of it is that when it's going well, it's like, this is sweet.
Top of the world.
Absolutely
Oh my
sweet.
God, yeah.
But it's so like, what's the word? Like,
Fickle.
Fickle is a good word, actually, a good point, because it's like, it could go like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
makes
that.
sense.
Yeah.
I mean, silly point, but I've got a bad knee. I need knee surgery. Do you know how scared I am to take 3 months off of being like, well, it won't be 3 months, but being incapable of moving and like not being able to gig and
Yeah.
because they can. Someone said to me the other day, "Oh, you still gig? Someone will carry your gear." No, I do solo gigs as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's being like a buck horse donkey carrying all your shit. Like
Terrifying.
and that could be. I mean, we were talking about. I went to Isle of Wight and I went on a stag do. So that's 2 weekends in a row. It's ruined me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
2 weekends off has ruined me. And that balance is just, we'll never get it right.
No.
But how are you finding the balance of, especially as you've been so successful at pushing your original music,
Thank you.
while also really smashing it on your side hustle of like your session stuff? That
Yeah.
Because the other reason I'm asking is because a lot of people watching that are interested in music I mean, as you'll found with people asking so many questions about your side hustle stuff, like they just can't grasp that we do like 12 fucking jobs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to make enough money to pay for one. Do you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I can say stuff to Liam all the time of like, I could do nothing for a week and then I could get one really well-paid gig, and he's like, nice. I'm like, well, I try and see it as my week's wage then. You know what I mean? Like all the stuff I've done for free is basically like, you know, so how do you find that?
I really find it hard when I'm not doing something.
Oh my God, yeah.
And if I have a day where I'm not doing anything, I mean, I have like bad anxiety anyway. My anxiety goes crazy.
I can absolutely agree.
Like, I think I was so terrified to move to London because I was like, obviously it's so much more difficult to get work there.
Yeah.
It's fucking huge.
Big
And
pond,
everyone
innit?
wants to do it.
Yeah.
Like, no one gives a fuck if you're a singer. You
Yeah,
can sing well. And so I was really scared, and I have had a lot of days where I've been sitting doing nothing, and I hate myself for it.
It eats away, doesn't it?
But like, we don't have weekends.
Yeah.
So like, you have to have those. You have to put them somewhere.
Yeah.
And I've
people can
burnt
judge
out.
you for sitting there at Tuesday at 1 p.m. doing nothing.
I feel
And
so.
it infuriates me.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. No one I am actually friends with judges me for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But
no
like-
one will. But you
I get family members going, what are you doing waking up at 11?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I fucking work till 3.
So I have obviously been working really late because I'm a singer. And I will go to sleep. There was some nights on tour where I was going to sleep at like 4 because the bus wouldn't leave until 4.
Totally.
And I would set my alarm for 8 every day because I was like, I can't wake up late because then I'm just wasted the day.
Yeah.
And by the end of the tour, you should have seen
Ruined. I bet
my
you were
face.
ruined,
I
yeah.
was like a dead woman.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't accept that like waking up late was okay.
Yeah.
And it's like when you say about my family, it's my family who say to me like, you need to sleep.
Yeah.
And you need to actually just realign and stuff. Because I think I'm such a comparer, and I don't.
Oh, we all are as artists.
Yeah,
though,
and I just compare myself to, like, I see my sisters as so successful because they are. But if I'm slightly different to them, I'm like, well, I'm not successful anymore.
Is that a tough thing about being the younger sibling as well?
Yeah.
Because I'm the older, so I couldn't.
Yeah.
I almost feel sympathetic for my sister. because she's
Yeah,
younger.
I am a chronic third child. Like I am the definition. I am the definition of the youngest child.
I've got chronic third child syndrome.
No, I have. People used to take the piss out of me all the time for it. But anything they do, like even when I broke up with my boyfriend, I said to my sister, who also broke up with her boyfriend at 22 or 23.
Right.
I was like, how long did it take you to find a new boyfriend? And she was like, why is that relevant? And I was like, because if I surpass that, I failed. And she was like, that is fucking psychopathic. Even like my best mate, Toby, he like, I had the same thing where I was like, fuck, he's been on a date before me. Like, I failed.
Yeah.
Like, that is actually so psychopathic. So this job is like, not great for me, but
I agree. Same here.
But being the youngest, also, I assume you get away with everything and anything anyway. And also your parents are way easier on you than any of your other siblings.
Learning from their mistakes.
Okay.
yeah,
It makes sense
I
then.
am the favourite.
Yeah,
It
there
makes
you go.
sense.
Yeah.
It just,
Can't put
okay.
foot wrong, can you?
Yeah. I get.
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's it's an age-old question, the balancing in it with musicians, because no one's got the right answer and nobody does it right.
Yeah.
And I genuinely think if we sat Justin Timberlake down here now, he'd be like, I'm struggling to juggle all these plates.
Yeah, makes sense.
yeah, I was gonna say it's
a good example.
He can't do it without a
Makes
drink.
sense.
I can't balance all these things without a couple of bevs down me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It was
Yeah.
such a strange day. But did you see the cop who arrested him didn't know who he was?
Shut up.
The police officer was 20 or 21.
He didn't really look like him.
No. And apparently he didn't recognise who he was. And on the body cam footage, Justin Timberlake puts his head on the wheel and goes, what about the tour?
Oh no, I've seen that. What about the tour?
And
The
cop's
world
like,
tour.
The cop's like, what tour? And he goes, the world tour.
The world tour.
That is really sad.
What about the tour?
That is really sad.
Iconic. But yeah, no, to answer your question, I don't have a balance.
Yeah.
I'm still working on that.
Sorry to have almost stitched you up because I know everyone's answer is going to be I don't have a balance, but more just because people are buying into your ability and to be smashing it in both ways. And it's obviously also important to know that like in social media, we're seeing everyone's highlights. No one's filming the bit where we're struggling with it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't vlog the bit where I sit up in bed when I wake up at 1 o'clock on a Sunday because I work late on Saturday doing a bar gig.
Exactly.
And I'm knackered.
Like, as much as this, like...
I don't film that bit.
From my... I mean, it's the typical response, but like from my Instagram and my TikTok and all my socials, it would look like I've had the best year of my life. Whereas
It's never that simple.
it's
is it?
not that simple. Yeah, no. And I would say that the last couple of months have probably been the most turbulent.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm really glad.
Big
that
life changes, isn't it?
So big. And I think, I actually do believe that you're not going to get anywhere if you don't have the big life changes. And I've made some decisions that like I know will benefit me. But in the moment, they're really hard. And but I think I'm just the kind of person that I'm like, if I'm not doing everything, then I'm like, I won't win.
So
and
true.
I am so, not to like blow smoke up my own arse, but I am so driven. And I think it makes me like convulse the thought of not being able to do, like when my sister's like, are you going to give up in a year? I'm like, the thought of giving up makes me so sad that like I will just run myself into the ground.
You know what? That makes so much sense just because obviously today when you were talking about people that were trying to get session work or people that were trying to get BV work or whatever, and you were like, be annoying.
Yeah.
It was like, you
pester.
need to be annoying.
Oh my God, I'm so annoying.
You have to be though.
Liam, what's your phrase, mate?
My phrase always has been that closed mouths don't get fed.
Love.
I'm such a believer of that if you don't open your mouth and just say or ask and just say, can I do this? Do you need some for that?
Yeah.
And you told a story on your TikTok about someone that needed BV's last minute only because you'd had a connection. I can't remember what it was, but it was a last minute thing, but only because you'd first said or asked and all this stuff that has like domino effect after it. All to you being with James or being at Glastonbury is just because you just opened your mouth and just said, this is what I want to do.
There's nowhere that, well, like in my instance, there's no way you can learn to be a backing singer. Or like you can, but that's the kind of thing that you just learn on the job. Of
course.
Yeah.
And so you've got to be the kind of person that's open to being like, well, I'm going to do it having no experience, but I promise that I'll do it really well. And that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I really struggled with that for a while, and I hate the idea of networking, and I hate the idea of being like, I'm really good at this.
Yeah.
But I have got really good at it, and I will just be like, I'm really good at that.
Good, yeah.
And I will help you.
It's funny, isn't it? Because considering the way that creatives have to get their work is by self-advertising them.
And doing it for free for a while.
And doing it for free. And the thing we hate doing is telling people how good we are.
Yeah.
And doing things for free.
Yeah.
But I do
because we can't afford to.
I actually do think I found with, I don't know if you feel the same, but as time's gone on, I'm much more confident now with being like, I'm a professional musician and I'm really good.
Yeah, you should.
Because
but then we go back to success because, and you nailed it with the spectrum thing, because like I'm very lucky personally that like my mum, for example, always is very kind about how success is happiness to her, and that's come right through to me and my sister.
Yeah,
and I'm really happy with that. I'm lucky, that I've got that. But like, for example, my dad, when he was around, was always very, very, very supportive, but was the hard one.
Was he?
But like it was pushing me. It wasn't like being a dick. Like I look back now and laugh because the only times I ever fell out with my dad was when he was trying to push me to be better and work harder and do things like this. And now I sit here and think, when I did the same as you and when I'm sat still and thinking I'm not doing enough, when I probably actually am, that's just because my dad was like, you need to be doing more, you need to be doing more, you need to be doing more. And someone said to me on tour the other day, I can't remember, on tour the other day, I think it was Nathan Carroll, you know Nathan Carroll?
Yeah, I love Nathan.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. He was telling me, shout out Porridge.
Shout out Porridge.
Yeah. He was telling me that, like, he asked me about it, and it's the first time I'd said it out loud where I thought, oh, that's exactly why I'm like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I'd get in my dad's van on the way to college. He'd drop me at the train station like 6 a.m. and he'd have a clipboard on his fucking wheel. I'd be like, have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this? Have you done this?
I love that.
And he wasn't, it sounds like a wanker, he wasn't.
No.
And I'd be like,
I think that's great.
I'd be like, Dad, it's 10 past 6. Leave
me alone.
No, I haven't. Just fucking please.
Yeah.
And do you know what I mean? And it's the same reason now where if I sit back, just like you should do, if you don't already, it sounds like you do because you said it, and go, hang on, this week alone I've done this, and this, and this.
Yeah.
But because I haven't done a 9 to 5, it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it at all.
Yeah.
But we have. And I think being, for example, like the reason I asked about family before as well is because I've got a family member, for example, who's so supportive, to be fair, but whenever I tell him what I've done, he asks how it's going. Whenever I tell him something good, he's like, oh, great, that's going so well. God, you just need one person to just take take notice of that, and then you'll really get it. You'll make it.
I'm out here.
And I'm like, I'm surviving off doing music. That I'm sweet.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
I got really scared to post about Glastonbury because I was like, people will be like, oh, but it's not your music.
Oh.
Were people like that though? bitter people.
Nobody's in my face, but like...
That's an old-fashioned family thing though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe they did.
I think that people framed it in a positive way. Like my mum...
You controlled that narrative really well though.
Yeah.
That was how you did that.
Like I'm so lucky that if I never get to play those festivals or those stages with my own music, like I was stood behind stage at Glastonbury and I was like, Pippa, you are playing Glastonbury right now.
Fuck yeah.
You are on stage. Like you need to take it in. And I was the same in all the arenas and stuff.
Yeah.
So that I'm like, if I never get to do that again, at least I have done it.
Yeah.
But also it's like having seen it, I mean, I don't want to get like spiritual or whatever, because I'm actually not that much of a spiritual person.
Yeah.
But I in lockdown, I really got into it. And I really feel like you've got to be able to visualize it too.
And what better way?
And what better way? Like I've been
100%.
on that stage, so I know how it feels.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, oh my God, I am not stopping until I'm doing that.
That's a fantastic
that's
point.
huge.
Because that's so good because like, for example, a weird example actually, but you know, the whole Tyson Fury thing of his comeback with his mental health and stuff, where he was like, from birth, he's called Tyson after Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
From birth, his
destiny.
path was to hit heavyweight champion of the world. And he hit it and was like,
What now?
what now?
Yeah.
Whereas like, and then obviously when he fell off, because he knew that was it could help him get back up.
Yeah.
You know, that's such a good point that like, if I could grace those stages, do all the things I want to do with my own stuff, like you've done with like supporting other artists, does it help you see and feel like, because you know how that felt, that's the feeling I want to get to again. Because I chase nothing and I'm like, it can get a bit lost, can't you? But
and if I felt that buzzing after singing fucking oohs and ahs for a Manchester rock band, imagine the feeling I'll get when I'm singing the songs that I've written.
For sure.
Very true.
Like I know it sounds really preachy, but
no, so
like,
true though.
I literally came off stage and I was like, right, I'm in the studio this week.
Yeah.
And I'm going, and
That's good.
Toby has to clear his fucking schedule.
It's mega inspiring stuff though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like mental. There's nothing like it.
Fucking crazy.
Lovely.
I mean, I had another question, but I don't know how we're doing for time. Fuck what we're doing for time.
You've got any time, but go on, ask your
I was
question.
going to ask you this before, but we'll use it to conclude.
Yeah, go
So,
on.
and I guess actually maybe it semi does go on for a segue. But who is your? I'm going to go for 3 because I know what your number one's going to be. So just to get 2 more out of you. So if you could get a support slot next as an original artist, who would be the 3 artists that you would dream of supporting? Like who would do the best for your career, or who would like? Who would shares a similar fans, you know, like not just like, oh, I'd love to support Bruno Mars because he's sick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like who would?
Yeah, okay, Olivia Dean.
Yeah.
I thought so,
I feel like I really don't need to go anymore.
Do you like Olivia Dean?
Well, have you seen all the like British summertime gigs at Hyde Park?
Yeah.
I had never even thought about this, but Stevie Nicks played it this year. And I was like...
did not know that. That's amazing.
Yeah. I think it's like this week or something. It's like soon.
I've seen clip. That makes sense now. I kept seeing Hyde Park and I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I know Hyde Park is, I didn't know what the gig was.
I was a bit like, Stevie Nicks is like Fleetwood Mac was...
Fuck me, that'd
like,
be insane, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Like my mum was obsessed with Fleetwood Mac when I was growing up, and still is. But like that, I remember being like, oh, if only... that would have been a pinnacle of everything.
Yeah. Such a diverse crowd as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like as in what people are into.
And I also just think the way that they do that gig, I don't know if you know much about it, but like they have obviously the big main stage and it's kind of like a mini festival in Hyde Park.
Is it a bit like Park Live? They have other stages? Or?
Yeah, they have like other tiny stages, but they're all classed as support for the main act.
Is this the one that Bonnie did?
Bonnie did for Adele, yeah.
Okay.
And that's support for, I mean, and they have crazy, I know someone who supported Robbie Williams there, Shania Twain, like all this year. But doing that I would find really cool because it's like you're playing a small intimate gig, but also you're in Hyde Park and you're about to go and, do you know what I mean?
Huge.
Crazy,
it's fucking sick.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would have been cool. And I think Olivia Dean would be like the fullest circle.
Yeah, of course.
I can't think of anyone else. I'm going to think of someone like get on my way home and text you like, fuck's sake. But I think, Boy Genius or any
that'd
of
be
them.
a fantastic
Phoebe
one.
Bridgers, like, fuck.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
We had a hilarious chat like months ago now
Yeah.
about how Liam, and to be fair,
I'm such a fan of both of them. They look so similar.
Yeah, was it Claro? No, it was
No, it's
Phoebe,
not Claro.
No,
it's Phoebe Bridgers and you made me forget her name now. What's she called? It's a blonde woman that they look the exact same.
Not Haim.
No, it's not. It's
She's a solo artist.
yeah, it's a solo artist. A bit more like electronic pop kind of style. What is her name? And I thought it was her.
Now that you even said. I thought you thought
Men I Trust. It was Men I Trust, who I thought was in Boy Genius because I thought she was
Phoebe Bridgers.
not Phoebe Bridgers because I knew she was a separate artist, but I thought that was her. And then I was so confused when I was watching SNL and Boy Genius were on, and she introduced herself. I was like, I just had this like eureka moment. I was like, they're two different people.
Like the Mandela.
They both got the same like Targaryen blonde hair with like the little bits. And I just thought they were the same person for so long because they look so similar to me, and now they don't look similar at all.
Also wrote, Billie Eilish.
Oh yeah, of course. That's
but I just think that's because I'd be like, fuck, you're Billie Eilish.
That'd be
and
true.
you're so fucking cool.
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
There's something about, I think if you could drop any of us in a support slot for Billie Eilish, her fans are just another level of fans, aren't they?
Yeah.
And if a fandom like that buys onto you, you've got your career
I
sorted,
also think that she's got so many like strings to her bow.
She definitely does.
Like I think she's got music for everyone, really.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And so I feel like it's just because I've just written a song that was inspired by Happier Than Ever.
Oh, right,
which is one of hers. And after that, I was like, actually, I don't think I'm too out of that lane, but also there could be an artist completely different to me.
She's got plenty of lanes.
Could also be in her lane.
Of course.
So I feel like that would be a good one.
I even saw a clip of her literally last night doing some like intimate gig for just fans. And she was talking about the fact that like people forget that she had mosh pits at her show.
Yeah.
Because she could still do that kind of emo rocky, like, I don't know, a bit more like heavy stuff. Because we all just think of her as like almost jazz pop now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
but the most accomplished. Because you got a stack of Grammys and 2 Oscars now for best song. Ridiculous.
She's really cool.
And she's
broken the
really
game.
Likeable.
And she should be the youngest person in this room. She was there.
Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
No, I think she's older than me.
Oh, is she?
23?
I thought she was 22.
That was a moment that you just realised.
It'll be on the screen right now for a
I'm born in May and I think she's born in the October before.
Oh, was she?
I mean,
Don't
it's
ask
crazy.
me why I know the...
Either way, though, it's still arguing like someone who's 23
born on the 25th of May, actually.
I don't know why, but she's really giving October in my head. I could have completely made that up.
Well,
if we had Splinter here, if you had Splinter here, you could check it.
I really want her birthday now. Can you Google what Billie Eilish's birthday is just for fun's sake? Because I really want to know now. And if it's the 25th of May, I'm psychic.
It's definitely not 25th of May.
And now I'm questioning whether it's May.
A bit slower.
Not May.
October.
December.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
18th December 2001.
Fuck, so she is younger than me.
Yeah.
Younger than me.
That's so gross.
She's only younger than me by like 6 months, but okay.
Yeah, give it
Well,
that.
you can say that. I still look at her and think she's 17. Like,
yeah, it makes sense.
You know what I mean?
But she's also been around for a while still. Since she was like 14 or something, 13.
She stopped doing those. What was it, Vogue?
Oh, the interviews. I watch them every year. They're really entertaining.
But she stopped doing them.
She's doing after. But she's
like first one, she's like fucking 16.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just gross.
Yeah, ridiculous level of
So we're gonna
success. I was just going to say, to close out,
Yes.
where can people find you next? Where can they go to see your music? What's your new single? What's the song of the summer?
What do you want to push next?
What are you pushing? Is your mum to plug yourself?
Well, I'm pushing my TikTok because that's where it's all going down.
It's
Cool.
popping off.
Handles on the screen.
Yeah.
I am in a really fun place right now where I'm just making loads of things.
Sick.
And I don't know when it'll be coming out, but I would say within this year. And it's genuinely some of my best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of my
Some
favorite.
of the best music ever.
Some of my favorite songs. I'm so
Brilliant.
chronically proud of them. And I listen to them all the time.
Love it.
And there's going to be all the bells and whistles and I'm so excited.
Well,
Fantastic.
you're coming to the end of your last era, Pippa Crossland.
Yeah, there's a new era on the
and
horizon.
that was a fantastic start. You know what I mean? So if you ask, stick around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for telling your stories. It was a lot of fun.
We've got 2 insane performances coming up.
Certainly do.
And I'm not saying that because I'm joining her.
Oh yeah, collab.
Hell yeah. But thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you
This
for
has been
having
amazing.
me.
We've laughed, we've cried.
We've loved. We've
been
lived,
a
laughed,
roller
loved.
coaster.
Blood, sweat and tears have gone into this episode.
Certainly has.
Thank you so much, everybody.
I'll see you on the next one.
Thank you, good night.
Bye. Bye.